Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 4 going to present to our beloved lecturer, Dr. Azman bin Samsuddin. Our group going to present about review how game theory works in perfectly competitive market such as business network in Malaysia. But for our group, we choose business weight floor and perform a SWOT analysis based on the game theory. Our group member consists of 11 people. They are HAMZAH FANSURI bin SULAIMAN, FATIN dan FITRAH binti MUHAMAD Nur Fazira binti Awam, HARIFFAH BALQIS binti KAMARUDDIN, NURSHAZLEEN binti ESHAM, AIFAA Anis binti ROSDI, and me, Siti NORHAYATI binti SUNARDI ALIAS, ADILA ILYANA binti AZMAN, NURSHAZLEEN binti MUHAMAD ZAMRI, ARIFAH binti MUHAMAD MISDAN, and for the last member is GYTHIRY anak perempuan SIVAKUMAR. That's all from our members. Then we can move to the another topics, which is introductions.
I, NURUL, going to present in chapter 1, introduction, because our group assignment is about game theory in a perfect competitive market. Because of that, our group decide to choose only one product, that is weight floor. We decide to choose weight floor because weight floor is also one of important product in Malaysia, because mostly people in Malaysia use weight floor to make like a cucur, cage, break, kuih and another S. That's also important as a rice. Rice is a basic food in Malaysia. Almost same like a wheat flour. Because of that, my group decide to choose wheat flour. Because wheat flour is important and many used in Malaysia. So many product of wheat flour in Malaysia like Lily, Faiza, Sharp and Sharp Rose. Because of that, my group decide to choose only two brand, that is Sharp and Sharp Rose. Based on the picture, we can see Sharp and Sharp Rose, or we call it ancho flour. Both of the product was made in Malaysia. Sharp Rose was produced by Lee He Enterprise Berhad, and ancho flour was produced by Perlis Plantation Berhad, or PBB Group Berhad, based in Kuala Lumpur, that under FFM Berhad. Rose flour was under by MFM. Next is in game theory. Game theory happen because access between firm in order to make a profit, also to compete with other firm. Game theory also happen because occur when opponents do not want to cooperate. Basically, game theory mostly happen because firm do not want to cooperate each other. So that's why game theory happen. As we know, in game theory happen because there is no comparative between the firm. So that the game theory is happen. So in game theory, there has two conditions, that is comparative and non-comparative. If the firm is comparative, so there is no game theory that happen. That means a firm agree to cooperate with the other firm. In non-comparative happen because when each firm undercut its competitive, so that they can control more the market, so that there will happen game theory and competitive between the firm. In the perfect competition market, we can see that basically in this perfect market, we need a price taker. Familiar among the public can enter and out for this market easily. Homogeneous product, many buyer and seller. Based on the diagram, we can see that the curve is straight line. That's because price is taker, and also this means that all the product must sell at the same product and at the same price. Moreover, most of research say that perfect competition is not unsuitable in game theory. That's because in perfect competition, some the market is already success, and still mostly is success and still no field, because in perfect competition market, every product must sell at the same price and homogeneous product. So there is no competition between of the firm. So that's why in game theory, perfect competition market is unsuitable. However, there is still some of game theory that can be used in perfect competition market, like Nash equilibrium, dominant strategy, and separation game. That's because even in the perfect competition market, we also make some strategy to make a profit. So that's all for me. So and the rest of the explanation of perfect competition market will be explained by FATIN and FITRAH. That's all for me. Thank you.
Equilibrium curve in perfect competitive market. Figure 1 shows the equilibrium price level at P0 by select as much as the quantity raised by the firm. The curve for PCM is a perfect elastic curve. On this curve, it can be seen that the demand is at DD1 and the price level is at P1. But when there is drop in demand from DD1 to DD2, the price level also changes to P2. Figure 2 shows the equilibrium exists when there is intersection between the MR and MC curve at point E. For example, the price is at RM5 and the quantity obtained is 7. Figure 3 Supernumber profit. Supernumber profits are better known as economic profit. The profit is obtained when the value of income greater than the total cost. We can clearly see that MR equal to MC and AR greater than AC. Number profit. Number profit refers to the profit obtained from total revenue and total cost, with marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. This condition determine the normal profit in perfect competitive market. Subnormal profit, or known as negative profits, it is due to AR less than AC. Normal profit refer to the profit obtained from total revenue and total cost, with marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. Firm closing rate curve. The rate of firm close refers to firm that suffer loss by having to decision whether the firm will continue operation or close from operation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am ADILA ILYANA binti AZMAN, S57827, and I'm going to present about the dominant strategy. So, what is the dominant strategies? The dominant strategies is known as the one that is optimal no matter what an opponent does. A dominant strategy also the one that gives the best result compared to the other strategies. Dominant strategies allow you to anticipate the move of your competitors and decide accordingly. So, how you can anticipate the move? If you know your dominant strategies and player decisions, you can win any games, either in the markets or in your life. Dominant strategies also refers to a general plan outlining specific actions that must be taken to achieve a specific goal. Philip Sheridan once says, "Always make your opponent think you know more than you really know." So now, we move to the table 1, which is a pair of metrics for promotion games. Suppose, dominant strategies refers to a general plan outlining specific actions that must take to undertake a promotion. Each firm will be affected by its competitive decisions. The possible outcome of the games are illustrated by the pair of metrics. First number and each cell in the payoff is to the unchecked flower, which is in the left hand side, and the second payoff is the chopped rose flower, which is in the right hand side. Here, I'm going to share a little tricks on how you'll be able to read this payoff matrix table. First, I would like you to draw a box around the number of the left hand side. It will keep in your mind that you're going to take a look on the unchopped flower. Now, let's find out if unchopped flower have dominant strategies or not. If chopped rose flower do promotions, what should unchopped flower? Should it do promotions and get 20? Or should they doesn't do promotions and get 12? Of course you choose 20, right? Because 20 is bigger than 12. And if chopped rose flower doesn't do promotions, which one is better for them to do? Either 25 or 20? Of course 25. So, the unchopped dominant strategy is do promotion. Simple, right? It could happen on the other side. How about the chopped rose flower? If unchopped flowers do promotions, which one should they do? 15s or 0? They should choose 15, right? That's the easy one. If unchopped doesn't do promotions, what should they do? Should they doesn't do promotion and get 16s, or they should have 12? Well, they should have 16. So, chopped rose flower also have dominant strategies on promotions. To conclude this table, good firms unchopped and chopped rose flower have dominant strategies on promotion. We move to the second table, the bonafide promotion games. We assume the table 2, unchopped flower as old competitors and chopped rose flower as new competitors. A little change on the bottom right hand corner. Let's do it again. First, we draw a box on the left hand side number. Now, we identify if unchopped flower have dominant strategies or not. If chopped rose flower do promotions, what should unchopped choose? 20 or 12? So 20. And if chopped rose doesn't do promotions, what they choose? 25 or 30? 30. So unchopped flower does not have dominant strategy as all competitor. What about chopped rose flower? They have dominant strategies or not? Okay, if unchopped flower do promotions, what should they get? 15 or 0? So 15. And what about if unchopped flower doesn't do promotions? What should they get? 16s or 12? 16. So, chopped rose flower have dominant strategies on promotion as new competitors. To conclude this table 2, the dominant strategy is chopped rose flower and unchopped flower has no longer dominant strategies. Thank you.
Nash equilibrium, a notion from a game theory. Determine the ideal patch of action in a non-cooperative game where no one has any incentive to change their intention plans of action. Under the Nash equilibrium, a player does not gain from a changing their strategy, provided that the other players stick to their original plans. For example, rose flower and anchor flower. In the Nash equilibrium, we can see that when players make a decision simultaneously and one evaluates the other player's decision, it is also possible to predict what other players will do. With that, anchor flower take action to advertise the flower, and rose flower also implement advertising. The advertising should be taken by one of the companies because one of the companies can influence other customer to buy the flower. For example, when anchor flower run advertising, customer will get information about anchor flower and other flower as well. Therefore, there is no equilibrium point in both flower
company when both companies run advertising. Additionally, there is a niche equilibrium when the anchor flower company advertises, but the rose flower company does not. This is claimed to be true since a buyer can learn about other items when one of the companies advertises, for example, anchor flower. The buyer chooses between the two flowers based on advertising from the anchor flowers advertising activity. Hence, the equilibrium point is at 10/10. The situation is analogous to when rose flower runs advertisement, whereas anchor flower does not. Since anchor flower run advertisement, the niche equilibrium point is therefore at 10/10, also same in above. A maximized strategy is when a player decided to do something that yield the best of the roles. A maximized method seeks out of the decision that incur the smallest damage. Every choice has a benefit and drawback. Other name is for its cautions or pessimistic strategies. The table below shows that when the price of the flower is reduced, customer will pick either rose flower or anchor flower because the price difference is the same for both. Thus, the buyer will have the choice of buying both a flower. Buyer will pick anchor flower over rose flower. However, if a rose flower raises the price of the flower while anchor flower maintain a lower price, as the rose flowers increase is not lucrative from them. Consequently, rose and anchor flowers price was increased by -10. When the price of the flower is reduced, customer will choose between rose flower and anchor flower. Per table below, because there is no significant difference between the two of types companies for flowers. As a result, the customer will have the choice to buying both a flower. But if the rose flower raises the cost of the flower, while the anchor flowers maintain the lower cost, customer will pick or buy anchor flower over the rose flower, because a rose flower is a higher cost is not profitable for them. As a result, the cost of a rose and anchor flower was increased by matrix numbers is 10 with a -10.
Why are the grocery stores always built right next to other store and always seems to exist in groups instead of being spread evenly throughout a community? Okay, my name is NURUL binti MUHAMAD MISDAN and number matric S59503, and I will give a simple explanation about the page location game theory, and I will give a simple example for the perfect competition market, which is ECO4100 and Jaya Grocer. This grocery store will tend to cluster wherever the demand for goods from the community, such as web floor, is highest by the population, neighborhood demographics, visibility, local competition, and are all factors taken into consideration when the grocery chains look for a new store location. There are two things that ECO4100 can choose to do: either relocate a location farther away from the other grocery stores, which is Jaya Grocer and others, or find a prime location where there are other stores. If it's settled in the prime location, then it joins the cluster. However, if ECO4100 goes to a farther location, it will either become a successful or thus cause other grocery store like Jaya Grocer and others will come cluster around it soon, or fail at getting customer and thus return to a more prime location. No matter what decision ECO4100 makes, it will end up in a cluster. As a result, we can see how game theory applies, as a grocery store have choice in terms of where to open but end up with the best payoff if they stay in a cluster. This is where Nash equilibrium happen because the grocery stores end up having no incentive to move outside of their cluster because they will either fail or end up with a cluster forming around them. Okay, next part is mixed strategy. Mixed strategy is a probability distribution one uses to randomly chooses among available action in order to avoid being predictable and need to be analyzed in a game theory when there are many possible equilibrium. To understand how such a game takes place, this part will present a game between two companies of perfect competition market which produce homogeneous product, which is two type of brand, which is rose flour and anchor flour. The way we solve this dilemma is through the use of mixed strategy, in which we look at the probability of our opponent choosing one or the other strategy and balance our payoff against it. Based on table 1, the two companies, which is rose flour and anchor flour, are involved in a game where regardless of the current action, they are of them will want to change tactics in the next round of this infinite game. As the payoff, it goes like this. Rose flour and anchor flour would like to set the price of their wet flour product but have the different type price. Rose flour would like to set the price of product with high price, but anchor flour prefer with a low price. After that, we know that there are two Nash equilibrium in pure strategy in this game. First, low price and low price, and second, high price and high price. Next, if we want to know if the Nash equilibrium in the mixed strategy, so we need to compute a mixed strategy. Let the anchor flour go to the rose flour game with the probability P, and the rose flour go to the anchor flour game with the probability Q. Table 2 shows full competition of the mixed strategy, contains the competition of the mixed strategy payoff for each player, which is company. This game also have an equilibrium in mixed strategies. Anchor flour choose a low price with the probability 2/5 and high price with the probability 3/5. And also rose flour chooses low price with the probability 3/5 and high price with the probability 2/5. We can check that if anchor flour uses this strategy, then anchor flour cannot do better with any other strategy, and vice versa. The outcome is random, and the two companies, which is anchor flour and rose flour, will each have an expected payoff 2/5. In addition, there are a mixed strategy equilibrium in which each company selects low price with the probability 2/5. As we know, a mixed strategy is one of the game theory that company can apply to make a best decision. Then the company will more advance from the other companies such as anchor flour.
Repeated game. A repeated game is an extensive form game in game theory that is made up of numerous interactions of a base game, which is called a stage game. The idea that player will have to consider the impact of his or her present action on the future action of other player is captured by a repeated game. Non-repeated game, also known as single stage game. The tick for tat strategy is a repeated game strategy in which player respond in kind to an opponent's previous play. Infinitely repeated game. A stage is played at period 1, 2, 3 and so on with no end. Each player discount future payoff using a discount factors. Finitely repeated game is a dynamic game in which a simultaneous game is played finitely many times, and the result of each stage is observed before the next one is played. Example, play the prisoner's dilemma several times. Example, if one start out with high price, which firm one maintains so long as firm 2 continue to cooperate and charge a high price. As soon as firm 2 decide to lower the price, however, firm 1 follows suit and lower the price. If firm 2 decide to cooperate and raise price again, firm 1 will immediately raise price as well. Firm 1 and 2 repeatedly set price month after month. Firm 2 set a low price and undercut Firm 1. In that month, Firm 2 make a large profit, but Firm 2 know that Firm 1 will set a low price the following month, so profit for Firm 2 will fall and will remain low as long Firm 1 and Firm 2 continue charge a low price. Therefore, repeated games are not suitable for perfectly competitive market because the price in a perfectly competitive market are the same. Thank you.
In perfect competitive market, the repeated game theory cannot be used. Among the reasons why this theory cannot be used is that there is a difference between characteristics of perfect competitive market and oligopoly market. The characteristic of perfect competitive market, PCM has a large number of sellers and buyers in the market and has a small number of firms. The price of goods is determined by the price mechanism thus the quality of demand and supply. PCM is producing the homogeneous product which use the price taker concept. PCM firms are free to enter and exit the market which are registered. Characteristic of oligopoly. Oligopoly is that the output of goods is a closed or homogeneous substitute. Oligopoly have the opportunity to set the price of goods. The production product is different or it will be correlated. In the oligopoly market, the price set a mutual dependence and also have the power to set the price. In oligopoly market, a new firm has barrier to enter and exit from in the market.
Rigid price and case demand curve. The curve describes the price at P0 representing elastic demand and SP0 is below, it represents inelastic demand. Figure explains when the price is reached above P0, it will cause the decrease in the quantity demand. At this time, the competitor will not raise the price and explain that when the price is reached, the competitor will not follow the same price as the second assumption above. Next, when its price is lower from the point P0, this will cause competitor to also lower the price. This can be seen as this first assumption.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is HAMZAH FANSURI bin SULAIMAN and my meeting number is S58881. Alright, today I would like to talk about sequential games in game theory. This is in my research in this assignment. So, sequential game is a type of games in which players make decision in a specific order. In contrast, in a simultaneous game, players make their decision at the same time. Alright. There are 3 steps to analyze this game. Alright, the first one is identify the players and their objectives. Alright, the second one is identify the possible actions that the players can take and the outcomes that result from those actions. And the third one is the strategy interactions between the firms using decision tree. Alright, so for the sequential games can be represented in the form of a decision tree where each branch represents a potential move and its corresponding payout. In this specific game, 2 companies, that is company Rose and company Sour, can choose to produce either wheat flour or corn flour. Alright, by working backwards from the final payoff, it can be determined that the best move for company Rose is to produce corn flour and for company Sour is to produce wheat flour, resulting in the best overall payoff for both companies in the result. For this chapter, there is the advantage of moving first In this chapter, the company Ros and company Sao are deciding on which product to produce, wheat flour or corn flour. Company Ros has a first mover that is advantage by choosing the produce for the corn flour, and forcing the company Sao to produce wheat flour. This is similar to the first mover advantage in the stackable model that is in this chapter, where one firm decide on a higher level of output, leaving the other firm little choice but to decide on a lower level. Alright, the stackable model and the Carnot model are both example of duopoly model where two firms compete in the production of a good with no marginal cost. In the Carnot model, both firms decide on their output level at the same time. Alright, resulting in a profit of 100 ringgit. Both firms in the stackable model, that is one firm sets its production level first and the other firms respond, resulting in a higher profit for the first firm and a lower profit for the second firm. Game theory states that a player gains a first mover advantage if he can change the game in such a way that he moves first and receive a greater payoff. So we go back to the first one, that is company Ros and company Sao to do the production. Alright, so company Ros have a first mover advantage, so they decide to choosing corn flour and forcing the company Sao to produce wheat flour, that is will greater their payoff and greater their advantage in quantity, that is demand of quantity.
What is empty threats? Are empty threats sustainable to be used in perfectly competitive market? We answer the first questions, which is what is empty threats? Empty threats occurs when one company threatens another company for their own benefits. Both companies can get benefits if from one charge a high price for their products. The price decisions made by from one will have the biggest impact on the profitability of the entire industry that we can recognize as dominant. From one would prefer the outcome in the upper left-hand corner of the metric from the table. But if from two charging a cheap price, which is clearly a dominating strategy, because from one will success regardlessly which firm decide the price first. So even from one threats to charge a low price, from one will lose more and more than from two. So this is the threat ineffective. In perfectly competitive market, we select wheat flour from two companies, which is company Sao and company Ros. But as we know that wheat flour is a basic necessity, so the government control the price. So that means both companies can increase their price more than the price set by the government. So we can see that the threat is baseless and that one of company will suffer more as a result of its decisions charge a low price. This is the answer for the second question, which is are empty threats is sustainable to be used in perfectly competitive market.
Assalamualaikum and have a good day, Dr. Azman. My name is NURSHAZLEEN binti ESHAM and my metric number is 5x245. So now I'm going to proceed the next game theory, which is about the commitment and credibility. So this game theory is not significant for the competitive market, but it more significant for the oligopolistic and monopolistic market. This game theory is suitable when they have a few firms, few producer and supplier in this market. For example, I give one producer, which is Harry Motors, is produce big motors and small motors, and the Mario engine is going to produce a small engine and a big engine. So lately it's viral about the small motor consumption among the household because small motors is easily to use rather than a big motor. So this producer is noticed about this situation and they start to produce a small motor only and stop to produce a big motors. So this decision they make, then they just only to get supply the small engine only rather than a big engine. So the decision that producer made when they want to only produce a small cars is not agreed by the supplier side, because as you can see from this table, the supplier side will get more profit when they produce a big engine rather than a small engine. So the supplier will try to make any assumption to make sure that this producer still produce a big motors rather than they just focus on the small motors. So as you can see, the situation is about commitment and credibility between producer and supplier. Our topic about the competitive market. So we know that this competitive market, there is a lot of producer and supplier. So this game theory, commitment and credibility is not going to happen, because when the supplier is failed to supply this raw material to the producer, this producer will get easily to find a new supplier from any side or any country. So this is because why this game theory is not going to happen in this market.
Bargaining strategy. What is bargaining strategy? Can we use bargaining strategy in the Malaysian's wet market? We answer the first one. What is bargaining strategy? Bargaining strategy is a method of negotiations where the parties work together to resolve their conflict in a way that benefit both of them. This tactic focuses on creating agreements that are advantageous to both parties and are based on their respective interests. We can consider two businesses that intend to launch one of two complementing products. If both firms produce A, firm 1 will have a cost advantage over firm 2. Meanwhile, firm 2 has a cost advantage over firm 1 while producing product B. But firm 1 could keep lower pricings and make a bigger profit. However, if both businesses agree on who will manufacture what, the upper right-hand corner result would be the reasonable choice. If company A produce A and company B produce B, both companies will benefit by 50 ringgits. Producing B is a firm 2 dominating tactic, make it the only niche equilibrium. We answer the second question. Can we use bargaining strategies in the Malaysian's wheat flour? The answer is yes. The competitions market in this study, each company from Chap Roast and Chap Buttercup intends to produce wheat flour, which is one of complementing goods. Without corporations, both companies will suffer. But if both companies could agree who will produce the butter and wheat flour, both companies will gain profit. However, the choice of whether or not to agree on the productions was made after the negotiations between the company. For both businesses to join the consortium and increase earning, this is the prevailing strategy. However, merging issues is in negotiations agenda sometimes serve the interests of one party at the expenses of another. Even though company from Chap Buttercup has a cost advantage in producing butter, they can only make a small profit or less than they do when producing wheat flour. Company from Chap Roast can keep lower pricings and make a large profit because company Chap Roast can produce wheat flour more cheaply than company Buttercup. Thus, it will be better if both companies agree to manufacture this product for their own financial gain.
Anti-deterrence is the strategies of an existing business that are aimed at effective market entry by new potential business. This action creates greater barrier to entry for firms seeking entrance to the market and ensure that incumbent firms retain a large portion of market share or market power. Okay, so anti-deterrence are an important source of monopoly power and profit, sometimes arise naturally. Okay, there are three strategies in anti-deterrence. Firstly, excess capacity. Excess capacity may be established to either reduce the viability of entry for potential firms. Excess capacity takes place when incumbent firm threaten to enter of the possibility to increase their to increase the production output and establish an excess of supply, and then reduce the price to a level where the competing cannot contend. Excess capacity typically occur in market which firm that have a naturally monopoly. Second, limit pricing. In a particular market, an existing firm may be producing a monopoly level of output and then trebly making supernormal profit. This creates an incentive for new firms to enter the market and attempt to capture some of this profit. Lastly, a switching cost. A switching cost represents the expense a customer face in the light of changing to the product or service to a competing firm. Switching costs are not strictly monetary. To forestall customer from defecting a company might employ a number of strategies that increase a customer prestige and fiscal cost when switching. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is SWOKUMAR. My metric number is S60569. Here I will explain about SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is one of the analysis strengths interacting in the sequential game using the decision tree. SWOT explain about strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. The analysis involves identifying a strength and weakness of each firm as well as the opportunity and threats that they face in market. For example, a firm that has a cost advantage over its competitor, which seems as a strength, may decide to produce a large quantity of product in order to capture a large share of the market and increase its profit. On the other hand, a firm that has a higher cost structure, which sees as a weakness, may decide to reduce a small quantity of its product in order to avoid incurring loss. Opportunity and threats can also inform the decision of the firm in the market. For example, if there is a new technology that allows firms to reduce their production more efficiently, which seems as opportunity. This may lead some firms to increase their production in order to take advantages of the cost saving. On the other hand, if there are new entrants into the market present threats, this may lead some firms to reduce their production in order to avoid being squeezed out of the market. By analyzing this strategy interaction between the firm using a decision tree and a SWOT analysis, game theory can gain a better understanding of how firms make decisions in a perfectly competitive market in Malaysia and how those decisions affect the market's outcome. In the context of perfectly competitive market in Malaysia, an opportunity of a firm may be a new technology or change in market condition that allows the firm to produce its product more efficient or at a lower cost. For example, if a firm in Malaysia adopts a new production process that allows it to reduce its cost, it may create an opportunity for the firm to increase its production and capture a large share of the market. To take advantage of this opportunity, the firm may decide to increase its production and offer its product at lower price in order to attract more customers. This decision may be based on an expectation that other firms in the Malay market will also increase their production in response to the lower price, lead to a large market share for the firm. However, it is important to take note that this decision may also have unintended consequences such as increasing competition in the market and reducing the profits of other firms. Therefore, it is important for the firm to carefully evaluate the cost and benefit of increasing production and offering lower price to take advantage of the opportunities. Last but not least, an external element that can have a negative effect on a company's or organization performance is referred to as a threat in SWOT analysis. Increased competition, shifting customer tastes, new legislation, and economic downturn are a few examples of these challenges. A SWOT analysis may help a business foresee and get ready for probable future issue by identifying potential threats. By doing so, the business may be able to reduce or eliminate this danger and preserve its competitive edge. To remain competitive in the market, a firm could, for instance, see a danger like the growth of e-commerce and option to strengthen its website, digital marketing activity, or online presence. There are few possible threats that firm operating in Malaysia may encounter. For instance, economic integration like Malaysia is very dependent on exports, especially in the industry and agriculture sector. Malaysia export performance might suffer from a slowdown in the economies of key trade partners like China, USA, and UAE, which will reduce demand for Malaysian goods and services. Second, Malaysia is a country with a history of political volatility. There have been several political changes recently and more might happen. Political unrest may lead to uncertainty and unpredictability, which can have a detrimental impact on investment and corporate confidence. Business operating in Malaysia need to be aware of these possible hazards and take action to reduce or eliminate them. For instance, a business may create a disaster recovery strategy to lessen this effect of natural climate or spend money on cybersecurity measures to guard against online attacks. Businesses may increase their chance of success in Malaysia, cut through market by organizing possible danger and take steps to counter them. That's all from me. Thank you.
Conclusion. In game theory, only the dominant strategy, nice equilibrium, and sequential game are allowed to be used in a perfect competitive market because even though the market for both types of flow has reached a perfect market that is B same AR same R, but the market can still compete in terms of product quality and promotion. Even though sequential game also can be used because there are perfect information between the firm in a perfect competition market. So there are only three theory games that can be used in perfect competition market. So that's all for our group presentation. Thank you.